Well, hello and welcome to Own Your Divine Light show. The show today is to accelerate your ascension during these times of pandemic and chaos. And I am Isla Serona Miller. That is my magical name, which I am stepping into. And we've all been going through so much right now. And it's just feeling like things are starting to, lift a little, but there's so much on the horizon that we don't know. And we're meant to create a new way of being in our lives right now. And this wonderful person that I have on today is created and embraced her total creator in her life and her joy, and has so much fun in an innovative way in how she brings it to people. So I'm going to say, welcome, Nereeda McInnes. Welcome to
Hey.
the show. And I'm
Oh,
going to tell you more about Nereeda. And she is a best-selling author of her book, What If? Creator and host of the Ned Talks, and you've got to tune in on YouTube to her Ned Talks. They are so fun and they're short. So if you don't like long things, they're awesome because it makes you laugh. It brings you right into your heart, and she's got some great wisdom with it too. So, and she has explored many different healing modalities. She's passionate advocate for personal development, growth, and exploring all that we are on a deeper level. And she brings with her a mix of spirituality, that amazing humor, and realism to all that she does. Nereeda is on a mission to see humanity thrive and not just survive. So welcome, 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 Nereeda.
thank you so much, Isla. It is awesome being here with you. Thank you. And I love that intro. The best-selling book is my first book, actually. What If is my second. The first
Oh,
book was
okay.
The Truth of Your Reality.
Oh,
But hey, I'll take it. Let's put it out there. Let's put it out there to the universe. Make that one a bestseller too.
absolutely. Oh, yeah. So the truth about your reality. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you for
Yeah.
that. So there you go, gang. She has that, and you have workbooks connecting to that. Is it that one or the what if?
The well, What If has its own, that's a book on its own, and then I've got different digital products that have different
Gotcha.
things there. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, and we'll talk about that later. So
yeah.
I'm so excited, that you're here and you live in Australia, one of my favorite countries, and I lived there for a time before you were, a little bit earlier, like 1980s, and then I went back in 2017, and we kind of chatted about that. But it's such a
Mm,
great country, and so what's happening in Australia right now? What's going on for you, and what's happening in
mm,
the world right there while this kind of chaos is going on? Just to open it
mm.
up.
Yeah, sure. Well, it is a bit crazy. So I'm in Adelaide in South Australia. So I'm sort of at the bottom there. And then Victoria is to the, anyone who knows geography, don't see the left or right. Anyway, it's to
West.
the sides.
West, I think. Oh,
The
south. Yeah.
east, they're east, they're east. Thank you. They're more to the
Ah,
east.
okay.
West is Western Australia, so they're a whole different time zone. But yeah, it's been an interesting time here, which I know it has been for everywhere else. We had to probably Victoria, Melbourne, they've gone through some of the toughest, crazy things there with everything going on. We haven't been so bad where we are,
Oh, that,
and it's yeah, but it's been an interesting time. I think I find I use that word a lot, interesting, because you don't really how do you pinpoint this stuff? What do you say? And it
mhm.
depends who you're talking to, what you say as well. So it really is one of those things, isn't it? I think maybe you're finding the same where you are too. You
Oh,
got to
yeah.
find what you talk about with certain people and things like that.
Oh, yeah. And Connecticut has been kind of nice. I can't say it's been horrible. It's been okay. We've been very
Mm,
blessed, and I'm just thanking every God, thanking the source that we got, we've let go of masks right now. It's completely out.
mm.
So that's so great, and I'm really happy about that. So, I know that you're doing this great work, and so what's most important to you about the work that you do? What's the most important thing?
Well, I think the most important thing is people coming back to believing in themselves and their own sovereignty and asking questions and being their own leader. I
Hmm.
think that's so important to me. We all go out, we talk about things, we connect with people all the time, but it's more about people coming into their heart and making decisions based on truth. and really tapping into that. I think that's the time that we're in. There's all these layers are coming off, and it's happening on an individual scale and on a collective scale as well. And I always say that everything begins within. So when we're working on ourselves, when we're stripping the layers back, when we're doing the healings, when we're doing the work that sort of catapults us to our next sort of level, I guess you could call it, or coming back to who we are, that right there is the most important thing, because that then creates a ripple effect far and wide that we can't even fathom how incredible what we do. Just the smallest thing that we do creates such a massive ripple effect. And I think that's what's so important to me, is people realizing that and stepping into their power and stepping into their power with that as well.
Yeah, and that makes so much sense, because people think that their effort will not make an impact, but it does. Like you're saying, it makes a ripple effect. And no matter what you do right now, you take a stand, you're making a ripple effect. Whatever your stand is, it's an effect. And so you have to make your choices. I mean, it's kind of like a choice right now. Where do you want your world to go? And so that's where we're at. And it's a big question, and it's a very important one, and it's going to change the direction of all of us. And so we have to really look at it. And I think that's why we're in this. I think we're meant to do it, because we don't have time to do it. We're always running around, and we're finally making that time. So I know intuition is huge in what you do. And how did you open to your intuition, and how does that play in your life? How do you use it?
Well, I think for me, intuition is key. It's this thing that can be so subtle, and we can sometimes ignore it. Like I know I have, and everyone probably has. We don't follow our initial intuition. We make a decision and we go, bloody hell, why did I do that? I knew I shouldn't have done that, And I think it's our inner guidance. So intuition stands for inner guide, and it's there to help us and guide us. And sometimes it takes a level of trust. I know in my work, sometimes I think, far out, where are you taking me, mate? But you got to follow it. You got to follow it, and you got to tap into it. And I think it's so important, especially now in this time that we're in, to not only follow our intuition, but be discerning. And really, because there is so much information out there, there's so much floating around. And if we're not grounded, if we're not sure what feels right for us in our heart, we're going to be dragged around. And so that's why I just think intuition is so important, but not just that, in guiding us with anything that we do. I've followed my intuition to get to this spot right now, and it's been an interesting ride. And I can see where in my past where I haven't listened to it, and I can see where I have, and how it's sort of helped me grow. But then everywhere you go on your journey, it's all part of your learning. So nothing's ever really too much of a mistake. It's a learning experience. So you learn from everything where you do. If you do take a wrong path, maybe it wasn't wrong. Maybe you're supposed to learn a lesson there. So does that answer the question?
Absolutely. That's exactly true. I totally agree with that, because I feel like, we used to call it mistakes. But when you're in this work, there's no mistakes. There is no mistakes, because if you had to take a detour, you weren't ready yet. So then you took that detour. And so now when you're ready, you sort of get guided back. Somehow the universe finds a way to put you back on your path. And you still have a choice to take it or not. You always have a choice, right? But that's why I'm doing what I'm doing. This is why you're doing what you're doing, because we've chosen this now, and we never probably saw this coming, right? Did you see this coming in your life, what you're doing?
No, I wouldn't have known this, 10 years ago or whatever. It's just I knew I had to take a leap. I left my corporate job probably 7 years ago now, and you don't know what it's going to look like. You just know that that's what you had to do. I had this calling, like, I need to get out of here. I need to do something different. And I followed my intuition, even though it wasn't a clear road. And like you said as well, choice. How powerful is choice? We don't always have the, things can happen to us, and they may not be our fault, but we always have the choice of how we respond and where we want to go from there. So I love how you said that as well. And that you said, when we're ready, when we go on that detour, that really hit me in the heart, because it's true. We don't always, we think we might think, yeah, I want to do this thing, but it's not quite ready yet, like you said. So there is that learning that has to happen. And I think that's really important to remember when people are on their journey and they're wanting this big vision, or they've got an idea and it's not quite working yet. I think that's really important to keep in mind. Like, maybe it's not supposed to work yet. Maybe you're supposed to take this stuff in. Maybe there's something that needs to drop in, and it will be exactly what it needs to be in divine timing. So,
And that takes time to even get to this understanding, it's like a wisdom we learn after all the mistakes, like, okay, all right, there's a reason this keeps happening. So you're like, all right, so now I have to just look at this as a learning, and we get to appreciate things that have happened, the good and the bad. Because it's not bad necessarily. It's back on that word learning, and it's powerful. It's powerful when we get into this spiritual work, that you look at life so differently. You just see it from a whole different. It's like almost like a bird's eye view. When you
Yes.
finally get to that level, you look at it from a higher view, and you're like, okay, if I can separate myself from what's going on, what am I getting from this? And that's huge. That's huge for all of us to see. So, and when you said about intuition, how do you see intuition work in your clients' lives? Do you see them? Do you encourage? I mean, you have to encourage that for them. What do you do with that? How do they work with that with you?
Yeah, well, that's the thing. When I'm working with people, I don't give answers. I always say, well, what does it feel like for you? What does your intuition say? Because ultimately, it's not my decision with what steps they take. I'm there, I'm holding space, I facilitate, and that's great. But ultimately, all decisions that are theirs are their decisions. I can be there, we can brainstorm, we can have a bit of fun, but ultimately, it's up to them how they want to proceed forward, and that's empowering. Everyone has that ability. I'm not helping them to do. I'm holding space, and so
Exactly.
yeah, yeah.
I love
So
that. Yeah, go ahead.
no, that's it.
Well, holding space is so important, because a lot of times people don't give space. They want to fix you, or they want to do something. That's kind of the old way, especially if you have a partner, they always want to fix you. Oh, I can help, I can fix it for you. Well, no, I don't want you to fix it. I want you to listen, and I want you to just be there, just be a presence. Like, you're the presence, you're like the safe space. And that's so powerful for people, so that helps them feel like, all right, I can, no matter what it is, I trust that she's not going to judge me in a bad way. She's not going to, there's no judgment involved in that space. It's an open area for your clients. And we looked about asking questions about discernment, and it seems to be such a key. And I looked up the word. I'm like, all right, I've never looked up the word as discernment. So two things. It said the ability to judge well, and then it's got a Christian, in the Christian context, which I corrected. I'm like, really? I've never seen it put that way, but it's really more to me the spiritual context. Perception in the absence of judgment, with a view to obtaining spiritual direction and understanding. So I thought that was really good, because it connects with what we're doing. And that's why that
Yeah.
word discernment keeps coming up. So how do you use your discernment? How do you use it?
Well, I think I use it all the time. I think it's important to be skeptical in a realistic, loving way when it comes to everything that's going on in our lives and in our world, because I mean, we have to. We have to. There's so much out there that is non-truth, that has been talked about as truth, and it's important for us to be able to look at something, hear something, take it in, use our intuition. Does this feel right for me, what I've just heard? Does it make sense to me? And then be discerning about it, not just take things at face value. That doesn't mean you can't be a loving, awesome, beautiful person and always connect with people, but you've got to be discerning. You've got to be, especially right now,
Oh,
especially right now. So
absolutely. It's a great word for right now. And if people don't know the word, that's why I thought it was so great to bring it out even more for us, because
yeah.
I know when I was in healing school, my teacher said to me, Janet, you seem very gullible. And I'm like, ooh, but gullible was more innocent. Like I was
Mm-hmm.
innocent to the fact that I wasn't afraid of things. I mean, there is fear. I mean, but yet,
Mm,
yeah, we all have our bouts of fear and discomfort, but I kind of always thought the best of things. I didn't look at things with another kind of a look. I didn't really look at the dark side, to tell you the truth. I
mm-hmm.
mean, I had seen plenty of it. It's not like I hadn't seen it in my life. I had. So I did, but I didn't dwell on it anymore. I mean, I had to heal from it. You have to heal and
Yeah.
get through it. But then I had to move forward, and I just kept thinking, well, there's so much better. And, there's so many things in the world that I can just move into that's going to bring me the joy. That's the discernment, right? That was
Mm-hmm.
my way of connecting to discernment. So I was sort of hurt by that. I'm like, what? But then I realized, well, she's right. I was very innocent that way because I trusted a lot. And then you learn as we get old. And now as I've gotten older, well, with this whole world shift that's going on, we've learned discernment is so key. And
Mm.
I kind of had to flip to the total other side for a while and go, oh, wow. Ooh, I didn't know that was going to be going on. And, I went down the rabbit hole, like probably you did too. I think we've talked about that. And, um, and then I had to come back out, because then you have to say, all right, so I've heard it. I know what's going on to a point. I mean, we'll still be hearing it soon, event in the world, I think, but
Mm.
we've got some ideas and things that we would have never imagined. And so it's sort of like it's going to take time for the world to connect with that. Once things are let out, who knows what's going to be coming out. But and what we've heard, how much is the truth, like you said, that's discernment. How much is it your truth? How much does that resonate with you?
Mm.
So it's a lot. It's really empowering us right now to step
Mm.
into our truth, isn't it, as you're saying? Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I can totally relate to you as well. I used to have the rose-colored glasses on and think the best of people, and
Yeah.
like, because I think perhaps because we're both the same kind of people. Where we are. What is the saying? Sorry, what you see is what you get. And so
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
you have those experiences to teach you. Well, not everyone is like that, and
Mm.
it's an excellent lesson though,
Oh, it
because
sure is.
it is, and it's a gift. It's an absolute gift because it brings such a strength and wisdom that you would not have had without that experience. So, anyone who's going through that or has been through that will probably be nodding their head as well because it's
Hmm.
so true, isn't it? Mm.
Yeah, it's an interesting awakening.
Yeah.
There's
Oh,
that
yeah.
word again, interesting, right?
Yes.
So, so we're coming to this state of humanity, and what do you what do you see that people need to um what do they need to know right now? What are you seeing
Mm.
that they need to know exactly right now?
Mm. Yeah. Well, that's a big question, isn't it?
It's a
It's a
big
big
one.
question. Yeah.
But what's important to you? What do you feel it's important to you that you
Yeah.
need to bring to people? That's the question.
Well, I really feel like people, it's important to tap into our heart and follow our intuition, as we've said. All of those things we've said, be discerning, and to do their own research. If they're
Hmm.
fine, if things are coming up for them and they're seeing things that don't feel right, that's their intuition telling them
Hmm.
something isn't right there. So
Hmm.
then I would encourage people to do research if they need to do research. It depends where they are on their journey as well, because no level is right or wrong. We're all on exactly where we need to be. Um, so I think, yeah, I mean, really, discernment, intuition, to me, those two things are really important. And the power of choice, they're really important right now in this time. Really tap into your inner knowing and
Yeah.
connect with nature as much as possible, and uh, cut out the noise sometimes. Cut out the noise. It's easy, if you're someone like me, and I think you're similar too. It's great hearing what other people have to say,
Yeah.
doing our research, discovering what's going on. I'm so curious. I'm such a curious
Yes.
person. I'm so
Yes.
fascinated with what's going on.
Mhm.
And it is an exciting time when you look at it from that bird's eye level, like you were saying. Uh, but yeah, so coming back to it, intuition, discernment, asking questions, and asking questions of yourself as well. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's such a it's really empowering us so much right now to
Mm.
just be responsible for our choices. I mean, that radical,
Yes.
you talk, someone else talked about radical responsibility. So we are being given radical responsibility if you choose to take it.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, then when you do that, then you're stepping into who you're really truly meant to be. In my mind, that's how I look at it. And
Mm.
so the Great Awakening, what do you see the Great Awakening leading us to?
I see it. I see it being amazing. I see it being amazing. I feel like Mother Earth is giving birth. Mother Gaia is giving birth right now, and there is a lot going on. And when things are happening, when you're giving birth, it's not like it's always a smooth process. There's usually a
Mhm.
bit of shit flying around everywhere and some yelling and screaming.
Oh yeah.
All the technical stuff. So I think that's what we're in right now, and I think at the end of it will be a beautiful birth, a beautiful new baby, a beautiful new place, which is within anyway. It's
Mhm.
not like it's somewhere else. So I think we're coming to that. I think we're right on the edge, and it's going to be very interesting. Dolores Cannon talks about the two earth, the two world split,
Mhm.
um, and how that exactly looks. I guess we'll find out. I guess we'll find out.
Yeah, and you know, I've heard a lot of people talk about that, and I used to think it's like literally two worlds splitting, but it's really not. It's just going to
Mm,
be one consciousness. This is how I'm understanding it now, next to
yeah.
the other consciousness, but eventually we're meant to be all the same consciousness. But for those who are ready, they get to move up, and for those who are still learning, they are getting to be on the same planet, but we're still, you know, side by side. Maybe they're going to start noticing, like, that's where, like, the
Mm,
seeds, we plant the seeds and they get to decide, am I going to water this, am I going to allow it to flower in me as well?
mm,
So it is an interesting it's a powerful time. It's really a
mm.
powerful time. So how did you find this time benefiting you? What did you get from it that's really helped you, like, shift in some way?
Mm. I think it's really given me the opportunity to really feel into what is important, what isn't, and where I'm heading, what I want, what is most important to me in my life, where, to look at the things that may or may not be working, and to really just grow into to being more of who I am and stepping more into my power and letting go of the old stories. I mean, I talk about this all the time, but it doesn't matter how much work you've done, you're still letting go of old stories, old beliefs. Just and also, I'm just excited as well. To be honest,
Mhm.
it's an exciting time.
It
I'm
is.
excited to see what unfolds, and I think I feel really grateful that I'm here for this time. And I do believe that we did come here for this time, whether we're consciously aware of it or not. Um, I know at the start of this, I've spoken about this before in videos, but I was doing a video at the start of everything around March in 20, when would have that been? 2019, when everything sort of
Mhm.
started.
Mhm.
And I was talking about how this is an opportunity for us to grow. It's an opportunity to
Mhm.
look at what is and isn't working. And when I finished the video, I was doing it in my car and I came back inside. I had this voice inside me say, "This is what you came here for." And
Mhm.
it was just an undeniable experience. And I really feel like we all came here for this time, that we are here to experience this massive shift in consciousness, and that it is, we chose to be here, just like we have to make decisions every single day. We chose this time to be here, and it's a very special time. And there's probably a lot of other uh, souls that wanted to be here and can't be, so they're watching the show from wherever they're watching it.
Mhm.
Perhaps,
Mhm.
who knows?
Yeah, no, and that's a powerful knowing, to just see that for what's going
Mm,
on. It's got, you know, the ups and the downs of it, but yet there's so much we're getting from it, and so many people feel so good about getting to know themselves better, personally,
mm,
getting to know themselves, as you're saying, and get to know what you really truly want in the world.
mm,
This seems to be the key lesson of the whole thing, is that we're all meant to see, well, who do we want to what do we want to be, you know, be in
mm.
the world, because we're always been distracted and looking out. And instead of that, now we're looking in and saying,
Mm,
well, some of those things that we thought were so necessary are not really necessary. And at least
mm,
I've seen that for me. That's how I see things, like, wow, the things you kind of thought was so great. It's like, really? Because when I was younger, I wanted this giant house. I want a big house. But I have a nice house. It's perfect size for us. And it's
mm,
it's it's plenty. It's great. It's not small. It's right. It's just right. It's like the
mm.
three bears, the porridge. It's just right.
Yeah.
And I'm so grateful, because I kept saying, well, am I meant to have a bigger house? And they're like, and I'd be getting readings and they go, aren't you happy where you are? I mean, it seems like it's perfect. And I'm thinking, we've got to be happy where we are,
Mm,
and look at where we are. And are you happy? That's the question. Are you happy where you are? Are you happy with your life right now? And
mm,
what is it all about for you? What's the real meaning of what you want in your life? Yeah,
mm.
that's how I see it too. So any final message you might have for people for this tumultuous time?
Well, I just think go within, like we've been saying, go within. We're
Mm,
co-creating this world together.
mm,
Know that
mm.
everything that you're doing is affecting the whole. We're all connected. And so everything that we're doing, just the smallest things, smiling at a stranger or helping someone with their groceries, that is creating an amazing effect. We think we've been sort of taught to think, well, that's not going to make much of a difference, but it does. It
Mhm.
really does. So when we think, oh, wow, there's so much going on in the world, we can get overwhelmed with everything that's happening. But really, if we bring it back to doing what we can, we're
Mhm.
actually making the best possible difference we can possibly make. If each and
Yeah.
every one of us do that, absolutely,
Yeah, it's
absolutely.
so true. I feel it is the truth. So I know that you have a gift to offer to the audience. So I'd like you to tell them about that if you, at this time.
Yeah, so I am going to do an exclusive for your beautiful audience. So if anyone wants to jump on a live call with me, I'm going to be doing that. So there'll be a link that Isla will have below the video somewhere, so you can sign up for that, and we can have a jam session together. So we'll do it live, and if you can't make it live, it'll be available for another 7 days to watch the replay. So if you want to hang out and just ask questions, that just jam. It's a jam
Mhm.
session. So we're going to do that. So have a bit of fun.
I think that sounds wonderful. Thank you so much for that, Narita. And also, you have another offer, a deeper dive that you can give to people. And so you can tell us a little about that one too.
Yeah. So Now What is a program, a short little program that I put together for anyone who is awake or waking up to all the crazy that's going on in the world and might be wondering, well, what can I do? What can I do? So this is something that I've put together that has been really well received so far. It really helps you to begin within and look at what you can do from your little world, wherever you are right now. So yeah, and I had so much fun putting that together. So yeah, that's available as well.
Oh, thank you for that so much. And I'm just going to thank all our listeners for coming on today. And
Mm.
it's so wonderful when you meet bright sunshine people like you that really just shine. And we'd love to hear your feedback, your comments. I'll make sure to get them to Nereeda, or you can send them to her directly. We'll have all the links below for you. And Nereeda, I just want to thank you so much for all that you bring through, because you are an amazing glowing light of your divine, owning your divine light, because you just glow. I can just see, you just do. It's just something about your presence. And you have a wonderful, that humor of yours is so fun. And it's truly is. And it just lightens it. It lightens the loads that's going on in the world, because you make people laugh. And when you make people laugh, everything's better, isn't it? It
Yeah.
feels better. You feel better. Everyone feels better. And you do it in a way that still has so much teaching in it, and it's just so powerful. So thank you for what you bring through, and
Oh,
I'm so grateful to have
oh.
gotten to know you.
Yeah, you too. Thank you so, so much. That was beautiful. I want to say just how grateful I am that you have reached out to me and given me this opportunity to speak with you and meet you. I know you're stuck with me now because
Ah,
I just think you're awesome. So
I can
thank
of
you.
course. Thank
But
you.
yeah, no, your listeners and everything that you're putting out there and bringing to the world, owning your divine light as well. So thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm just so grateful. You're a legend. as they say.
Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you. And I am so grateful too for you too. And I am Janet Miller, Isla Serona Miller, and I will see you all on the next episode.